Hi all, I am Abdul Rauf from the Department of Physics, Sulam Salam Science College. These videos are to discuss the open course offered by the Department of Physics. The open course is Amateur Astronomy and Astrophysics. This lecture actually contains the 4 units. The first one is Introduction and Brief History of Astronomy. Second one is the Earth. We will discuss the different parameters to discuss and properties of Earth. Then we will discuss about the solar system, and after finally we will discuss about the stars. The units measured to used to measure the distances to the star, and also the life cycle of the stars also discussed in this chapter. So the first chapter in this course is the Introduction and Brief History of Astronomy. In this chapter we will try to introduce these things: the astronomy and astrology, the brief history of astronomy, the 2 branches of astronomy, namely the theoretical astronomy and the observational astronomy. Another topic which we will discuss here is amateur observational astronomy, which includes actually the different amateur observing techniques. And then we will have a look into the ancient astronomy and the modern astronomy. And finally we will have a comparison between the Indian and Western astronomy. So these are the topics which we will discuss in this first unit, the introduction to the astronomy. So as an introduction, we have to discuss what actually astronomy is. All of you know the astronomy is the study of the celestial objects and celestial phenomena. That means it is the study of the sun, moon, stars, planets, comets, galaxies, gas, dust and other non-earthly bodies and phenomena. The celestial object means the object appearing on the celestial sphere. Celestial sphere is actually the sphere which we can see above the earth. When we are looking up, we can see that sky as a semi-sphere centered at earth with a lot of objects embedded in the semi-sphere. So that semi-sphere is actually called the celestial sphere. Actually it is the semi-sphere is a half part of the celestial sphere. So objects appearing in this celestial sphere are called celestial objects. So the study about these celestial objects and the celestial phenomena are called astronomy. Another 2 terms which we will usually come across while discussing astronomy is the astrophysics and cosmology. Astrophysics is the sub-branch of astronomy which deals with the physics of the celestial objects and phenomena. For example, when we calculate the period of motion of planets or the period of occurrence of the comets by calculations, or if we calculate the distances to different stars, or if we study the different phenomena occurring inside the sun, etc., will come under the branch we can call it as astrophysics, because we deals with or study those things with the help of physical theories and formulas. But we know that different zodiac signs and symbols, the naming of those signs and symbols comes under the category of astronomy, but the astrophysics has nothing to do with that naming of those zodiac symbols and all those things. And another thing is the another important term which we come across is the cosmology. Don't misunderstand that this astronomy and cosmology are the one and the same. Astronomy actually studies about the objects in the celestial sphere and the phenomena occurring in the celestial sphere. But cosmology actually is the study about the entire universe. That actually includes the origin, evolution and ultimate fate of universe. For example, you know the Big Bang theory, how the universe is started to begin. That is discussed under cosmology, not under astronomy. So such differences you should keep in mind. Or while we are speaking, when we are using these terms, astronomy, astrophysics and cosmology, we should be taken care of. Now another thing is that the ancient people usually misunderstand that the astronomy and astrology are the same things. But nowadays we know that astronomy and astrology are entirely different. Astronomy is actually the branch of natural science, but astrology is not a science at all. Now if we come to this comparison between this astronomy and astrology, these two terms are historically associated, but astrology is not a science and is no longer recognized as having anything to do with astronomy. Actually, this has been separated from the astronomy from almost 1600s, when Kepler formulated his laws of planetary motions, and also Newton formulated his laws of gravitation, law of gravitation and all. So before that days, the people were believed that astronomy and astrology are one and the same. For several millennia, that is around 1500 up to 1500s, the desire to improve the astrological predictions was one of the main motivation for astronomical observations and theories. Actually, the astrology is the thing that tries to correlate the different astronomical phenomena to the life on earth. So the different astronomical phenomena and the appearance of different celestial objects, the astrologers tries to relate those phenomena and the appearance of the celestial objects to the different things happening in the earth, and also they are trying to associate it with the life on earth. So to improve those predictions, that astrological predictions, they need to study about different astronomical phenomena, and also they have to make so many astronomical observations. So that is the one of the main motivation, that is the to improve the astrological predictions was one of the main motivation for astronomical observations and theories. Astrology continued to be a part of mainstream science until late 1600s, when Isaac Newton demonstrated some of the physical processes by which celestial bodies affect each other. That is, from the Kepler's laws of planetary motion, Newton deduced his laws of motion and laws of gravitation. Then after, the astrology and astronomy has been separated, and the people understood that astronomy is a branch of natural science, but astrology is not a science at all. So now let's see some comparison between these, or the the difference between this astronomy and astrology. I told you that astronomy is a branch of science. It is actually the oldest branch of natural science, and astrology is not a scientific branch. Astronomy is the study of the universe and its contents outside of Earth's atmosphere. It is actually, I am correcting it, the universe means it is the objects in the celestial sphere and the celestial phenomena. Astronomers examine the position, motions and properties of different celestial objects. But astrology attempts to study how the motions and the positions of non-earthly bodies, that is the celestial objects, affect the people and events on earth. So one is astrology is actually some predictions based on the motions and the positions of celestial objects, and these predictions are on the life and events on earth. So that's why it has been discarded from the of natural science. Now let's see a brief history of this astronomy. The Mesopotamian astronomy or the Babylonian astronomy is considered to be the first or beginning of this astronomy. We can say that the astronomy has been begun, or astronomical observations started from the Mesopotamian civilizations itself. That is from BC 3500 to 3200s. This Mesopotamian civilization is the first civilization known to possess a functional theory of planets. Now, another astronomy is the Indian astronomy. Indian astronomy, the important thing is that it used to create calendars. You know that the ancient Indian astronomer Aryabhata, during 476 to 550 AD, propounded a computational system based on a planetary model in which Earth was taken to be the spinning on its axis, and the periods of the planets were given with respect to the Sun. This is a very great, important contribution, that this Earth was spinning about its own axis, and he also provided, Aryabhata provided the period of planets with respect to the Sun. Also, he successfully calculated many astronomical constants such as the periods of the planets, times of solar and lunar eclipse, and the instantaneous motion of the moon. So, Aryabhata was the ancient Indian astronomer who made remarkable contributions, and he could calculate the period of planets, and he also could calculate the times of solar and lunar eclipses and the instantaneous motion of the moon. Another emperor, Shunga, whose period was known as the golden age of astronomy in India. During that period, the Shunga period, Emperor Shunga period, the star catalogue were produced. Another astronomy is the Greek astronomy. It's also an ancient astronomy. They are the first geometrical three-dimensional model to explain the apparent motion of the planets were developed in the 4th century BC by Eudoxus of Cnidus and Callippus of Caesius. Eudoxus Cnidus. Cnidus is an ancient Greek city, and Callippus of Caesius. Cyzicus. Cyzicus is also an ancient Greek colony. And Plato and Aristotle are the two Greek astronomers. They concerned with developing an explanation of the reason for the motion of the cosmos. In the 3rd century BC, Aristarchus was the first to suggest a heliocentric system. So the heliocentric system means the sun is at the center. Before that, it is believed that everything rotates or revolves around the earth. Earth is assumed to be the center. Geocentric system was there. But in the 3rd century BC, Aristarchus first suggested a heliocentric system. Or heliocentric means everything is revolving round the sun. Another ancient contribution to the astronomy was given by the Egyptians, and Chinese people also contributed too much to the astronomy, and this Middle East astronomy, or which is otherwise called Arabian astronomy, so these people, Egyptian people, Chinese people and Arabian people contributed too much to the astronomy in the ancient days. So that's all about this lecture. In the next lecture we will discuss about the two important branches of astronomy. Thank you.